verse of the day. We did our verse of the day.
Hey, it's me.
Hi, I'm Samantha June and welcome to my channel. Now before we get started, we like to get into our word around here. So our verse of the day is Matthew 6, verse 37. Judge not, and you will not be judged. Condemn not, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. So today we're circling back on a topic that I spoke about a few weeks ago. So a few weeks ago, I spoke about overconsumption. If you haven't seen that video, make sure you see it. And now we are going to be talking about underconsumption, which in theory is the opposite concept, right? Which I kind of realize in culture now, it's like you're either one thing or another. There's never in between. Like maybe we should just talk about regular consumption. And we kind of are going to talk about regular consumption today. But the topic of today is underconsumption. And what's also becoming really big right now because of the new year is a no buy. So underconsumption kind of has the same roots as minimalism. Minimalism. I can't say that word, but minimalism is kind of the concept where you buy what you need, use what you need, and you use as much as you can of whatever you're buying, whether it's produce, etc. Like if you're using fresh broccoli, you're not only going to eat the broccoli head, you're going to save the stalk and make vegetable broth with it. Like it's that kind of thing. But that's what minimalism is. So underconsumption kind of has the same idea. And I wanted to talk about this for a while. And I guess my For You page had to remind me because, newsflash, we got TikTok back. In my last video, I was very stressed because I did not know how to edit and I had to use a new software. I had to use Adobe to edit my last video, and that was hard. But TikTok is back. So, in theory, this video should be edited with CapCut unless we lose TikTok again. I hope not. But yeah, I'm having to kind of consider some things because I'm realizing if we lost TikTok, I would struggle with editing. And so I'm going to use this time to learn how to edit videos on other software, but I love CapCut. CapCut has my heart, so I'm still using CapCut and I will be using it for this video. But yeah, TikTok is back and that means I'm back. Like I wasn't going to be gone, but like obviously I'm back because this is a video. But yeah, I'm happy TikTok is back. So let's get into our first video because my For You page had to remind me about underconsumption, and that is what inspired this video today. Okay, so that video is I forgot my mic, y'all. Okay, so that video was actually really funny to me because she's not the final boss of underconsumption. She's not even underconsuming. She's just properly using her things, right? And I feel like the whole concept of Project Pan that a lot of people are pursuing this year, it's a great concept, but it's a concept that should not be applauded because it's regular. Like, I think it's normal to use all of your blush before you buy another one. Like, that should be normalized. And I get now that with TikTok, and not just with TikTok, but with capitalism, it's very easy to like have a blush shade, but I got to get this one too. And actually, I need to get 5 shades for each season or whatever the case may be. Like, it's very normal to buy more and more and more. But I think depending on what class of society you reside in, so if you're a middle class person or if you're even lower class, using things until they're done is just what you have to do. Like, I feel like for me, I don't think I'm considered middle class. I'm pretty sure I'm considered lower class. Like, I'm independent on my own, don't have like, you know what I mean? Like I make my own money. I'm pretty sure I'm considered lower class. And for me, buying makeup is definitely a luxury. It's like a treat. It's something I do to reward myself, but it's not something I do often. And most of my makeup I use until it's done or until it expires. Only because I recently found out makeup expires. So I do throw away certain makeup when they expire, but like most of my makeup I use and use and use until it's done. Like I have an eyeshadow palette that I've had for the last 7 years, And I know it's expired, but I'm not getting rid of it because I barely touched pan on any of the shades because it has like over 50 shades in it, and it's an amazing palette. And I don't want to get rid of it because it was an amazing palette. Like, you know what I mean? But like, that is just kind of normal for me. So whenever new palettes drop, it's not like, oh my gosh, I need to get this new palette, da da da. It's more like, well, let me look at what I have because I bet you I got some colors that's in this new palette in my old palette. It's like, you know what I mean? So I feel like when you live in a certain demographic of society, it's kind of very normal to make sure you use all your lip products and to make sure you finish your foundation before you get a new one, or that you hit pan on your powders. Like, that's normal because it's what you have to do, it's what you can afford to do. So I think this really is not under consumption. I think it's just someone properly using their goods. Like, quite frankly, I'm not going to spend $50 on a foundation and not finish it. Like, I have some foundations that I recently bought the House Labs foundation, which I like it. It's a good foundation, but I'm nowhere near finishing it. And I'm telling myself, even though it expires in like a year, I'm going to keep it past the expiration date because I'm not making that $50 go to waste. Like, that's normal consumption. Like, that's making sure you get every dollar used, right? And I want to make sure I use every single dollar. So I don't think this is extreme. Like, Project Pan should not be seen as this extreme thing. It should be seen as normalized. And I know it's something that we're doing right now, or not we. I know it's something a lot of people are doing right now to normalize the idea of hitting pan on products. So this is something I feel like we should keep pushing, and just also make it very, just make it normalized. Like, hey, you don't always need to buy the new blush. Every time Rhode comes out with a new blush collection, you don't need to buy every single shade. Like, finish what you have. That should be normal. Finishing what you have should be normal. But nowadays it's not. Nowadays it's every single day having to buy something new, right? So I just think that's a little crazy. And that's something I struggled with myself. Like, I told you guys about my Amazon addiction last year. So a lot of people have no buy rules. And this year, one of my no buy rules is less Amazon shopping. So far in January, I only used Amazon twice. For the whole month of January, I only used Amazon twice, which some of you might be like, okay, that's not an accomplishment. But if you know me, I used to use Amazon like literally every week. Like, so at least at minimum 4 times a month I'd have an Amazon purchase, and sometimes it'd be 6 times a month. Like, I was using Amazon a lot. So only 2 times a month is perfect. I'm hoping in February I only use it like once, just to get everything I need, like my essentials, like one order, and then not need it again. So we'll see how February goes. Okay. So our next video and our next topic is underconsumption means you don't consume. Let's watch it so you guys get what I'm talking about. Okay, so this video blows me because it's literally called like underconsumption finds at Target. Have y'all been to Target? Target is not cheap. There's nothing underconsumption about Target. And not only that, in my head, underconsumption is if I buy cereal and it comes in a cardboard container, I'm going to keep it in the cardboard container. I don't need to buy an acrylic container to put my cereal in. Now, do I understand that the acrylic containers help your cereal last longer, XYZ? Sorry, guys, my camera's acting up today. Yes, I understand that. But is it necessary? No, it's not entirely necessary. And I feel like with these underconsumption finds at Target, you're not going there and just buying one thing. You're probably going there and buying multiple things to kind of like create a set in your kitchen and to create a aesthetic, right? Which we're all about getting beyond the aesthetic here. And aesthetics cost money. Like, aesthetics cost money, right? So if underconsumption, the goal of that is to spend less money and to live more mindfully, what is under consuming about going to Target and buying a whole bunch of containers to organize your kitchen? Like, what? And I'm not saying when you practice minimalism, because that's really what underconsumption is. When you practice minimalism, that doesn't mean you can't have containers in your kitchen, but I think where you're buying them and the purpose of them is what matters. So I think if you're getting containers in your kitchen, but you're getting them from like Goodwill, or you're getting them from like a thrift shop, or even like a discount home goods store, that makes sense. Like me personally, I love to get home stuff at Goodwill or even at Ross, because Ross has like a clearance section like all the time, and they always have good stuff in there. Just recently, I went to Home Goods, and in their clearance section, I got some cake pans for like literally $5. So like, like things like that. I think it's okay to buy these things, but buying them at Target, ain't nothing cheap at Target. Like, really, not much is cheap at Target. So I feel like being like, oh, you could get this fake tree for $20. What? What? Like, is that really necessary? A fake tree? You don't really need a fake tree in your apartment. You might want one, and it might look cute, but you don't need it. So, and that's like a part of the thing. We have to really differentiate our needs from our wants. You might want that fake tree. You might want that cake spinner to put your seasoning on, or whatever the heck it's called. Like, you might want that. You don't need it. Like, whatever you're doing right now probably already works for you, right? So, I just think this video is funny, and I think in a way it's kind of encouraging people to spend, because hey, you're buying all these minimalistic looking things, but you're spending money on it. And that's another thing I've kind of learned while researching for this trend, is that people will buy stuff, but because it looks minimal, it makes it okay. And it's like, what's the point in spending $500 to look like a minimalist if you're not an actual minimalist, if you're not actually maximizing everything you buy, and you're not actually making the most of your money and being mindful with how you spend your money? Like, why is everything an aesthetic? Like, why can't you actually just be that? Like, just be that, literally. And our last topic or point for this video is decluttering. Underconsumption is not about trashing what you have. So obviously this video is a joke, right? But I definitely seen people decluttering, whether it's like makeup they already have, and oh my gosh, I don't use any of this makeup, so I'm gonna throw it all away. Now, I think decluttering is good. If you know me, you know that I declutter my closet about 4 times a year, literally every season, because I tend to have a habit of buying a lot of clothes and then not wearing most of it. So I tend to declutter my closet to really get rid of the things I don't wear, and then figure out what I am actually still wearing. Now, the way I declutter is I donate my clothes to organizations such as schools, etc., or I donate my clothes to my church or to Goodwill. Like, I really just donate my clothes. Sometimes I will thrift my clothes out to thrift stores if I'm needing extra money, but most of the time I just donate it. So that type of decluttering is great. But if you're decluttering like product, whether it's like makeup, used makeup, stuff you've already used but you can't finish, or XYZ, and you're just throwing it away, I think that's a waste. I think you should just try to finish it and make the most of your dollar. Like, finish it. But if you have clothes, etc., and you're thrifting it, that's great. But I've seen videos of people throwing out their wardrobes with no intention of thrifting it, with no intention of donating it, just throwing away clothes, especially people who, maybe they used to buy a lot of Shein, but now they're trying to rebuild their wardrobe and have more classic pieces and less like fast fashion pieces. And I respect that, but don't throw it away. Like, yeah, Shein isn't great quality clothes, but there's probably somebody out there who could use that Shein quality clothes. Now, granted, Shein and fast fashion in thrift stores and in donation stores is a whole other topic that I'm not happy about, because me and my fiance, yes, I'm a fiance. Y'all probably didn't catch it last video, but I am a fiance. Me and my fiance, we love to thrift, and one thing I hate to see as a thrifter, or someone who thrifts, I don't consider myself a thrifter, but one thing I hate to see is Fashion Nova and Shein in the thrift store, and it be costing like freaking $10 when it was way cheaper than that. But yeah, I hate seeing that stuff in the thrift store. But that's also a part of fast fashion, right? A lot of people are buying so much clothes for the seasons and for the trends. Everybody wanted to be coquette core, and then the minute coquette core stopped being popular, everybody put all their stuff in the thrift shops and all the Goodwills. Like, you know what I mean? So even that, like, if you have a lot of fast fashion, do I actually really recommend thrifting it out or donating it? Yes and no. Yes and no, because we're having an issue right now where a lot of clothes is just going to waste. But no, because I don't also recommend you throwing it away because then it's going to go to waste anyways. So it's a bit of a like lose lose situation, right? But I do just want to emphasize that decluttering does not mean you're under consuming. What you have right now, you should take the time to be, value it, be mindful of how you take care of it and what you're going to actually do with it. Like maybe instead of decluttering, if you have makeup that you may have already used but you don't like anymore, if you have a sister, somebody in your family who you feel comfortable sharing that used makeup with, you could give it to them instead of throwing it away. Like I think just considering different things we can do to make sure we're not wasting product and not wasting clothes and wasting things that we already have, but also not buying new things to replace the things that we're going to get rid of because that's not necessary. So, this is my little spiel on underconsumption. And I'm really curious to hear what you guys think about underconsumption and also no buying. Is anybody here having a no buy this year? What are your no buy rules? And I just want to know, what are you guys trying to do this year to really save money and go after your goals? Please let me know down in the comments. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching this video. I'll see you next time. Bye, Junebugs.